cemetery where my grandparents are buried had been vandalized. And when she called to tell me that, I felt a lot of things. I felt violated, and I felt angry, and I felt scared. But most of all, it just made me miss my grandma, because she helped raise me. She showed her love through food, through her cooking. And so I sat down and I started writing about her life. She had immigrated here when she was 4 from Russia to escape the pogroms, and just kind of wrote about her life and our family. And I tried to address the vandals also in the piece. So I'm going to share that piece with you, and I want to dedicate it right now to all the folks in this country who are scared and they're afraid their family members are going to get taken away, and to the folks in Gaza who have been facing the unimaginable, and just anyone anywhere who's just feeling a lot of fear. And this piece is called Chicken Soup. Thank you. Thank you. Last night, you went where few would dare. You ripped at the earth, sprayed symbols of terror. But there were things you didn't know. And now I've come to speak to show you what lay beneath the dirt. My grandmother made chicken soup. Stuffed cabbage, chicken salad, the smell of onions rose from her kitchen, a lifetime of onions chopped by one woman. At the age of 4, she'd sailed an ocean, clinging to her mother and her younger sister. Bundled up tight at night, they'd whisper stories and folk tales in Yiddish and Russian, dreaming of meals their grandmother made them, steadying themselves against the rocking motion and praying for shelter where they'd never been. Through the turnstiles of Ellis Island, their names were shortened, ferried to Manhattan, a train they boarded north to Albany and west across the state to reunite with her father and settle near others who could relate. She learned a new language, the way children do. She learned the old recipes her mother knew. My grandmother made chicken soup. At 14, she quit school for work. She was the oldest. They needed her support. So she worked as a one-woman traveler's aide in the same place where she'd once arrived on a train. She worked her way up to manager from secretary. It was a working folks' life, but one meant to share. And in 1928, she met the man she would marry. He wasn't a talker, except to tell jokes. He liked smart hats and button-down coats. He joined the Coast Guard. He liked working on boats. He had reddish hair and a pipe to smoke. After the big crash, he drove a taxi and took any work he could. They tried not to worry that the world seemed so nasty. They held on to each other and knocked on wood. To her relief, he was too old to fight in the war, so he sold life insurance, collecting door to door. In between all the jobs in a world so unsure, my aunt and my mother, 2 daughters she bore. My grandmother made chicken soup. She raised 2 girls to go off to college, to learn new things, to gain more knowledge. She wore brighter colors and costume jewelry. Eventually, her daughters had my cousins and me. My grandmother made chicken soup. She gathered us together for seders, lit candles. Sometimes there was anger. I couldn't understand, though. I was too young to see past her wrinkled hands and the smile she'd greet me with after school when I'd ask once again for my favorite foods. At 76, she saw her eldest die. I wonder now, do grandmas cry? She must have cried as the breath left her daughter's fragile lungs, but somehow Grandma still seemed strong. I wish I could tell you more what she felt, but she seemed to zip her lip and tighten her belt through the kind of loss you can never recoup. My grandmother made chicken soup with matzo balls. Just a little bit of chewiness, the right amount of salt, sometimes krepla, and soft orange carrots. She carried that recipe in her brain, but never spoke about where it was from. She wouldn't speak to any Russians. It seemed like she hated them. But she'd be by the bus when my school day was through, and sometimes on weekends I'd go there too, Saturday nights we'd stay up late eating cookies off a TV tray for Gilligan's Island, Fantasy Island, while Grandpa sat in his favorite recliner. She let me try on her dresses and jewelry. She'd put on lipstick saying, "I wouldn't want to frighten anybody." Sometimes on Saturdays she'd take me shopping. We'd ride the bus to Midtown, and if it was raining, she made me wear a rain bonnet. I hated the way it pushed my hair down. When I was 14, she could see my body was changing. She said to me, "Jessica, have you started your monthly?" A holdout phrase, a grandmother's phrase, something from older, more restricted days. She asked about boys. She asked about college. She beat me at gin rummy. She had grandmother's knowledge. When Grandpa died at 91, what could she do but try to keep on? She played bridge with the gals in the Jewish home. When I'd visit her then, she seemed more alone. In those years she was fading away. I wish I had known what she was trying to say. I wish that I'd had more to give. I guess I was too young to understand what it meant to have lived. And when she died at 94, we told stories of her stubbornness. I said at the service I was proud to be one of a long line of stubborn women in my family. I touched the sallow skin on her forehead. It was smooth and cold. I took her hand to hold, hands that had made chicken soup, stuffed cabbage, chicken salad. But although we gathered, she wasn't there then. So, my friend, when you went to her grave last night to act big and brave with your old ghosts to fight, when you tarnished the stone my mother chose the inscription with the carving of a rose, when you spoke to her the way those old Russians did, insulted my grandmother, Betty Cohen Schiff, I'd like to ask what you hope to gain. And if you know that we all share the stain of blood and dirt and chicken soup, we're all travelers here, my friend, even you. But you went in the dark so you wouldn't have to see those of us who loved her, my family and me. I suppose it was mutual, because I didn't want to look at you. I didn't want to look at you. But now I know I have to. You have wounded me. You have tainted my pride. But your fear won't win, and here is why. I am already loved. I am already raised. I have already soaked up my grandmother's gaze, and that's true of so many who ate their grandmother's soup, and soul food and curry and rice and beans too. Now tell me, who was your grandmother? Could you tell she loved you? I'm sorry, my friend, but the fear cannot win. Even if 6 million more have to die, me and my family or all of mankind, you will never uncook what has fed us inside. You can shoot it down with your guns and lies, spray it with paint, build your walls, try to hide. But it will still try to reach you. It will still try to teach you. We are so much more than we ever imagine. And when we are tested, we can choose a better action. She sailed the ocean at the age of 4. She worked with her hands and rarely rested. She worked till her family tasted the truth. And if you come to my table in daylight, I would gladly cook it for you. It's good when you're cold or think your chances are through. The recipe in my brain that I cannot undo. My grandmother made chicken soup.